JavaScript was born because Netscape wanted to provide scripting capabilities within web pages. Brendan Eich designed the language, releasing the first version in the Netscape 2.0 browser. Microsoft soon followed with their implementation called JScript. Legend has it that Microsoft used the name JScript to avoid issues with the JavaScript trademark, then owned by Sun. In 1996, Netscape submitted JavaScript to ECMA International, who standardized JavaScript as ECMAScript in the ECMA 262 standard. On the Mozilla mailing list, Brendan Eich, the creator of JavaScript, said, "ECMAScript was always an unwanted trade name that sounds like a skin disease." Fortunately, the term is not widely used. JavaScript is not perfect, but for a long time it has been unfairly blamed for flaws in the document object model and differing browser implementations. To quote Douglas Crockford, "The document object model is quite awful, and JavaScript is unfairly blamed. The DOM would be painful to work with in any language. The DOM is poorly specified and inconsistently implemented." The arrival of Ajax and Web 2.0 kickstarted a renaissance for JavaScript. People were forced to work closely with JavaScript, and in the process they discovered its brilliance. Frameworks like Prototype and jQuery arrived to ease the pain of cross-browser development. Today, JavaScript is emerging as an important language on the server side with projects such as Node.js, the event-based web server, and CommonJS, the JavaScript standard library. Now it's time to dip a toe in the water and get started with our very first bit of JavaScript code. Here we have the simplest JavaScript project that I could think to write. You can see that it is just a standard HTML page without any content at all. The only thing currently between the body tags is this script tag, which has the type set to text/JavaScript. That tells the browser that everything inside this script tag is JavaScript code that it should attempt to execute. And what we have here is the window object, which is the top level object within the context of a web page for JavaScript. And on the window object, I'm calling the alert function and passing it the string hello world. If I grab Chrome and load that page, you see that it shows hello world in a dialog box. One important thing to note looking at this example is that browsers parse the page from top to bottom. So if for some reason the window object wasn't yet available when execution reached this line of JavaScript code, then we would get an error. So it's important to keep that in mind. Often the standard thing to do is define all your JavaScript just before the closing body tag on the page to try to ensure that everything that you need to work with is available. Another strategy is to set up event handlers so your JavaScript code doesn't run until the entire page is finished loading. Now, showing all of my examples by creating these dummy HTML files would get a little bit tedious after a while. So I'm going to use this web service called JSBin. JSBin is a simple application that lets you prototype JavaScript code. The screen is divided into two panels. On the right hand side there's the document that we're currently working with, and on the left you see a pane for entering JavaScript code. Now if I click the preview button, then this page will get executed and I'll see the output. For each of these tabs you can hide the other one, and quite often I'll work with this view showing just the JavaScript because I'm not going to be working a lot with documents. I just want somewhere that I can write JavaScript code and execute it. JSBin will be my weapon of choice for this course, but I want to make sure you're aware of at least one alternative. Interpreted languages usually come with a REPL. REPL stands for Read, Eval, Print Loop. A REPL is like a programming language shell where you can type statements and immediately see the results. They're a great way to experiment with a new language. We're looking here at the JSDB homepage, and JSDB is a project that provides a simple JavaScript REPL and JavaScript engine for executing scripts. JSDB is based on the Mozilla SpiderMonkey engine. The project is available as a downloadable archive, so there's no install required. I've unzipped JSDB into a directory and changed to that directory. Let's have a look at the contents. These are the files that comprise JSDB. This file, jsdb.exe, is the one we will use to provide a JavaScript REPL and also to execute script files. Running JSDB without any parameters starts the REPL. I can now execute JavaScript code. Let's start with the classic hello world. JSDB provides a function writeLine to print output. So the basic hello world looks just like that. And you can see that it echoed hello world back to me. Next I'll declare some variables. And try some arithmetic. And finally I can exit the REPL with Control-C. If you already have a script file that you want to run, JSDB can do that too. I'll create a new script, hello.js. Populate it with the familiar hello world example. And close that file. And now I can execute that just by passing the file name as the first argument to JSDB. You can see I've got hello world printed once again. Finally, it's possible to mix these two techniques, REPL and script files, by using JSDB's load function. Load fetches a script file and evaluates it. This means I can start a REPL and load my hello.js script. And you can see that works as well. It's also possible to load script files from within script files. For example, hello.js could load, say, an XML processing script or some other resource.